Hey there, YouTube West Texas Prepper. Nice Saturday morning out doing some pool work. Had a nice little 2 or 3 thunderstorms roll through last night. We got about 1.5 inches of rain overall, so it's a beautiful morning. Everything's washed clean, smells great. Nice cool weather this morning so far. Trying to get caught up on a little pool work. Headed out to another pool to clean right now, but thought I would finally get around to doing part 3 of my yet to be named series of the 5 H's of prepping. I'm sorry, the 5 W's of prepping. I'm going to leave that in there. I don't like editing my videos. It takes too long, and it's not too bad to mess up every once in a while. I've already talked about why people prep, why I prep, and I'll put some links in the below. If you haven't seen those, go back and watch that one. And then what was my other? I went brain dead all of a sudden. This one's going to be when we start prepping, or when do we need to prep. The other one is the second one was what are we prepping for. Go back and watch that one. That one's a good one as well. Not just because I'm in it, but I think there's some good information that would help in both of those videos. This one's about when we need to start prepping, and the best way to answer that is now. Thanks a lot, YouTube. We'll get back with you later. I'm just kidding. but that's all kidding aside. That's so true. When do we need to start prepping? And it's now. It's not after something has happened. Well, I'll come back to that in just a minute. But I think you need to go in and evaluate where you're at and start from where you are. And I've sort of ended some videos, keep prepping, start from where you're at. And I think that's an important thing. It also comes back to another quote that I really like from Teddy Roosevelt, is do what you can with what you have where you are. And I think that's key too. You can't go back and start over. You have to start now. And I think a key thing to keep in mind in the whole prepping community is we're not in a race with anybody but ourselves and time. And I don't care what kind of preps anybody else has. I look at them and say, man, that's where I would like to be in a certain time. But I can't get there now. So what do I need to do now? And when can I start working on that? So as I address this video of when, now is the time to do it. Not go in and evaluate where you are and do it and start now. And take some small steps, set some goals, and move on. Now back to what I was saying about you can't wait until after something has happened. And that's true to a degree when it happens to you. You can go back and reevaluate what do we do wrong, what do we need to do better, etc. But always go in and look at what is happening around me, what is happening in other parts of my state, in other communities, in other parts of the country, in other parts of the world. I was listening to the news last night with a hurricane that's moving down through the Caribbean, moving into Florida, supposed to hit Florida by Monday. People in Haiti, they said there were still 400,000 people living in tents from the 2010 hurricane earthquake that hit down in Haiti. That's sort of scary. I don't want to be in a situation where 2 years from now I'm still in a worse situation than where I was. So start prepping now. Do some little things now. Next time you go to the store, pick up 2 extra cans of food, fuel. Just go in and reevaluate. There again, go back and look at my other 2 parts of the series, why people prep and what are we prepping for, and I think that will give you a good idea of when we need to start prepping. Do you start prepping for winter things now? It's August, September, or do you do that in the springtime when all the winter stuff goes on sale? Those are some things to look for. Sales are a good time to prep. One of the things that we had a store that was selling chicken for less than $1.50 a pound. They were breast and thighs, Some of y'all are getting excited all of a sudden. They were breasts and thighs, $1.50 a pound. And, you know, we bought, whoa, hang on. Bought quite a few, got them in the freezer, packed them up, and we're ready to go. So, you know, that's when we do some of those things. You don't have to go out and spend tons of money at one time to do something. So that would be a key thing to look at when you start your preps. Sorry about that. I had to take a pause for a minute, go back and look at my notes. I've got a lot going on. We've got school starting in 2 days, and so I'm thinking about school and thinking about my pool business and other stuff going on today. My mind's sort of wandering on me a little bit. But one of the things I think would help us is when we need to start prepping is setting some goals and where we want to be with our preps in a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, etc. I know that there was a situation that came up with a radio show, and I talked about the electrical grid here in Texas and some of the things that are some issues with that. And last night at our ice cream social, I was talking to a guy that works with a different power company in our area, and real good information from him as well. And so that's making me now reevaluate some of the things that I have prepped for a power outage. That would be an instance when we talk about what are we prepping for, and you know, what is your SHTF? A power outage could be one, especially if you lose power for, you know, days, weeks before they get the grid back up and going, depending on whatever caused the initial power outage to begin with. So that's something that I'm having to go back and reevaluating. And when am I doing that? I'm doing it now. As I'm talking to you, as I'm out driving around. Next time I go to the store, I will go in and I will pick up some of those things to help me better prepare for a longer extended power outage. Now's a good time to do it. Like I said in the video, power demand starting this time of year in the fall and winter is going to be down in our part of the country because we rely on natural gas for the most part for heating, and so that's not an issue as far as electrical needs go. We don't have the problems with electricity going down during the winter. Now, we still can have a bad ice storm come through, knock some lines down. Yeah, you're going to have some problems. And wintertime could even take a little bit longer to get some stuff up and going, just for the fact that it's winter, it's cold. Now in West Texas, we have some pretty mild winters. We do get hit every once in a while with some bad stuff, but it doesn't last but a couple of days, and that's it. You know, even our worst storm in the years that I've been living here, even our worst storm, it was only about 3 days before the roads got cleared off. And so, you know, we were fine. We were ready for a situation like that and didn't have a problem. But when can we start prepping? Now is the time. Don't wait till something happens to you to start prepping. Try to set some goals. Try to think ahead and go back and look at those videos. You know, what are we prepping for and why are we prepping? And that will give you some ideas, some things to think about. There again, the percentages, look at those percentages that you're having to deal with. Is what is most likely to happen where you live. Not for West Texas Prepper, but where you live. That's the only person that you can prep for is yourself. You can't worry about anybody else around the country. You have to be ready for what can affect you and you alone. And that's why I don't get very specific, because you just have to go in and make those assessments and decisions for yourself. West Texas Prepper, I've got to go get to work, do some more pool work today. Thanks for watching these videos. I really do appreciate it. Do what you can with what you have where you are. I think that's a key thing to keep in mind, and start now. Start from where you're at. Thanks a lot, West Texas Prepper. I'm gone.